I can do what I want when I want to do it. I can do what I need when I need to get through it. When I need someone else, can't be too proud for help, but gotta look after myself. Sometimes it can get lonely, never living in the moment. When the sun is shining, hope that I'm reminded, like how the clouds keep changing. I'm always steady rearranging, going back to the basics of what a good day is. What a good day is. And that's exactly what the day is. But it's exactly what you make it. So please don't go wasting. And I'll do the same, even if it's raining. How could I complain? And my feels got me feeling some type of way. You always free to take a break. Hope you feel what I felt. You gotta look after yourself. Sometimes it can get lonely, never living in the moment. When the sun is shining, hope that I'm reminded, like how the clouds keep changing. I'm always steady rearranging, going back to the basics of what a good day is. Of what a good day is.
Good morning, gang. It's that time. Y'all know what to do.
Exactly what the day
Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see me. We're going to go ahead and get into it. Shout out to Keely for kicking off the show the right way with our intro song today. How are y'all doing this morning? Hopefully everybody's doing well. I see y'all in here dropping the ones. Let's go. Let's see how we looking up in here. We should be good. Ooh, looking all crispy and clean on the screen. Welcome, y'all. Welcome back to another YouTube live stream and another episode of the Music Morning Show. I'm your host, ClassE Beats, ClassEbeats.com. Today we're going to get some updates on Fani, what's going on with her after she got fired. Oh, we got some new news about this craziness that's going on between Tony Buzbee and Jay-Z. It's going to be very interesting there, as well as we're going to get into finally the Davion Blake lawsuit that he's filing against Fulton County. And we're going to look into the history behind that, see why he's filing the lawsuit. Well, unfortunately, he is no longer with us, but his estate is filing that lawsuit, and some crazy stories again about Tony Buzbee. So it's going to be a good time. But before we get into it, I got to say what's up to the people, man. How are y'all doing this Friday morning? We got Christmas in a few days. Hopefully y'all are feeling good. Shout out to my awesome, amazing Amy is in here. Shout out to Amy, kicking off the show the right way. Love you and appreciate you. She says, and reminding y'all to like the video on your way, and if y'all could do that, I would appreciate it. Shout out to Amy. Also, we've got 904 Cowboy Canes in here. Alejandra is in the building. Krisha, Valencia, Olivia, Michi, Cynthia. I think I said Cynthia already. Nisha, Jay Buckmaster's in the building. I see you, Jay. PD Broker, I Am Shout, Nicholas, Deborah, Tammy, Rack Racer, Monty, Fun Size. We've got B Castro in here. Shadow Fox, Lynn. I'm probably saying that wrong. And shout out to Denise in here as well. Appreciate y'all stopping by the show. If you could, I don't ask for much during the show, but if you could, please make sure you like the video on your way in. Not only does it help the show continue to grow, not only is it free, but it lets the YouTube algorithm know that y'all are enjoying the show, and it shares the video with more people. So if y'all could do that on your way in, I would greatly appreciate it. And we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. All right, let me see what y'all are saying. Shout out to Sea Travel, says my backdrop is awesome. Thank you so much. Let's see. Yvette says, hey, did everybody in the Fani's office get fired? No, I wish. We can only wish, but no. They all didn't get fired, unfortunately. Fani is the only one who got fired, and she didn't get fired from office. She just got fired from the Trump case, which we're actually going to go ahead and get into right now if y'all are ready. And let's go ahead and bring this up. We talked a little bit about Fani getting kicked off of the Trump case yesterday. We can give a round of applause for that, right? This is just some well-deserved karma, and we all know from looking at the evidence what happened between her and Nathan Wade, from Ashley Merchant getting on the podium and absolutely eviscerating Fani Willis in 4K. We know that this was only a matter of time before this happened, especially with Donald Trump, Mr. 4547, about to be in office here in a second. But we have some more updates on what's going on behind the scenes here, and we actually have one of our fellow YouTubers was on Fox News talking about it. We've got Phil Holloway was on Fox News. We're going to get an update from him and see what his take is on this entire situation. Y'all check it out.
Attorney Fani Willis, who went after Donald Trump in Georgia, just got kicked off the case. Georgia's Court of Appeals has just disqualified her from prosecuting the 2020 election case against Donald Trump and his co-defendants. They are citing conflict of interest. Well, no kidding. The court began looking into whether Willis should continue the case after that romantic relationship with the ex-prosecutor Nathan Wade came to light. The court said this: while we recognize that an appearance of impropriety generally is not enough to support disqualification, this is the rare case in which disqualification is mandated, and no other remedy will suffice to restore public confidence in the integrity of these proceedings.
And I don't know if they're going to get into it in a minute, but y'all know what happened. Fani Willis, she hired her boyfriend, all right? She hired her boyfriend to be the special prosecutor in this Trump case. Now, normally we would say, okay, you know, what's the big deal? They're both professionals. They're both lawyers. But in this case, Nathan Wade had absolutely zero experience as a prosecutor. He had zero experience with this type of trial, zero experience with this case. Not only that, but Fani Willis paid him well above and beyond what an average prosecutor would get paid, or a special prosecutor would get paid in this instance. We're talking about 3, 4, 5, 6 times more, which is insane. Then they had other things that went on behind the scenes. They were taking cruises. There was some money missing, misappropriation of funds. It's a whole mess. Super mess, and embarrassing to Fani Willis, honestly, to see her get up on the stand and act like this is okay. She should be ashamed of herself.
Yeah, well, she put him there. He was making more than anybody else on the staff, and his resume didn't really match up what his job was going to be to go after Trump.
Correct.
There's that.
I think it was
The court
$600,000.
did not outright, though, dismiss this case. It will now be up to the Prosecuting Attorneys Council of Georgia to find another prosecutor to take over the case and decide whether to pursue it. That process could be delayed if Fani Willis decides to appeal to the state Supreme Court and tries to get back on the case. President-elect Trump told Fox moments ago, quote, "Whole case has been a disgrace to justice, and that should not be allowed to go any further." Phil Holloway, former assistant district attorney, former Georgia police officer, and legal advisor to Georgia's Sheriff's Department. So, you know that state.
First of all, shout out to Phil. I'm going to have a link to his YouTube channel in the description. Y'all make sure you go check him out. He has some great, Phil has an absolutely amazing channel and does a great job of explaining some of these legal situations and the legal aspects to folks who aren't actually lawyers or went to law school. So I really enjoy his content, and I'll make sure I leave a link to him and his channel in the description.
You know, his legal system,
the name of
Fani Willis. Talk to me about what they saw outside of what we all knew.
Well, Harris, you know, the statement or the part of the opinion that you referenced in the lead regarding there's no other remedy that will suffice is, I think, the very best and most important language in this opinion, because the appearance of impropriety, as the courts note, is oftentimes not enough. But this is the case because, look, this is the one that has the elected district attorney, taking lots of taxpayer money, funneling it to her admitted paramour, and then benefiting from that financial arrangement by virtue of all the romantic trips and the getaways and all of those things. So
Disgusting.
if it's not a direct kickback, it certainly has the smell of potentially a kickback. And her testimony, of course, they said had the odor of mendacity, which means that nobody believed her testimony when she tried to explain this. But it's more than the conflict of interest with Nathan Wade. This is also about what we call forensic misconduct. There's out-of-court statements where Ms. Willis goes into the well of a local church here in Fulton County, Georgia, which is full of potential voters and full of potential jurors, by the way, I might add.
Yeah.
And she maligns and impugns the various defendants out in a very public way. Prosecutors are not allowed to do that. They're not allowed to try their case, so to speak, on the courthouse steps, nor in the well of a church. This is something that was actually predicted. I predicted this outcome. She can appeal it to the Georgia Supreme Court, but I've got news for her. The Georgia Supreme Court is not going to take this case. It's discretionary. They don't have to do it, and they won't. They are going to affirm the Court of Appeals, and this case is going to be effectively over because the Prosecuting Attorney's Council of Georgia is not going to be able to find another DA if they wanted to, Harris.
That's a fact. And we're going to get into it a little bit later. Spoiler alert. Shocker, I know to most of you. Fani Willis did appeal this decision. We all know how this is going to go. We'll get into that a little bit later.
That wants to take this monstrosity.
Is that the only issue with this case? Because, you know, that can change. People can come in and out of those jobs and so on and so forth. Is there anything else inherently true about this case that would get it dismissed at this point?
The former president, President-elect Trump, has asked the Court of Appeals to dismiss the case. And of course, in this opinion, they said, look, this is not this doesn't rise to the level of dismissal. That's a separate issue. Now, there's other requests being made of the courts on the grounds of presidential immunity and that sort of thing. But this effectively kills the case, Harris. It's an orphan indictment. It's now going to be an indictment without a prosecutor. And the Prosecuting Attorney's Council is not going to find any other DA that wants this. Look, they'd have to shut down their whole office, and they'd have to, just for this case, basically shut down all of their operations. They would have to redo everything that she did and try to fix the problems that she created. It's not going to happen.
All right, I want to get to this. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin is pushing back on sanctuary cities in his state. Watch this.
All right, so that's getting into a little bit of the background of what happened with Fani. As I mentioned earlier, she is appealing this, which is going to be interesting to see how that goes, because as Phil mentioned, there's no reason for the Georgia Supreme Court to overturn this. She already had her chance. There was this decision made. Then they appealed it in the first place. 3 judges, 2 out of the 3 said that she shouldn't have continued with this in the first place. Kind of similar to what we saw with Glanville. They know what's going on and they know what's up in Fulton County, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with this moving forward, because I personally don't think that anyone's going to want to take this case. Now, with this being a case against the 47th president of the United States, it doesn't make sense to me. But y'all let me know what you think in the comments about this, and also in the chat. And good morning to everybody that's just stopping by in here too. The odor of mendacity. Yeah, shout out to the odor of mendacity. Thank you to all 1,300 of y'all that are in the building. If you could, please make sure y'all like the video. It's free. It's free to like the video. And I'll also be reading super chats throughout the show too. Thank you to everybody who sends in super chats. Chelsea says Ashley Merchant herself doesn't believe any prosecution will want to touch this. On top of that, she said she does not believe that appeals court will go in favor of Fani. Interesting. Oh, and you were saying, I think you were saying that she did an interview with Megyn Kelly. Let me see if I could find it. And was that recently, I'm guessing? Let me see here. Let me see if I can find it. Ashley. Because that would be interesting to see what Ashley had to say, because Ashley was absolutely cooking Fani Willis. Okay, so Major win. Oh, here's the 15-minute video here. And it looks like Phil was on with Megyn Kelly too. So I haven't seen this yet, but we'll definitely check it out. Thank you for that, Chelsea. Yep, I got it. I got it in here. Also, shout out to, is it Erie is in here. Says thank you for the coverage you provide. God bless. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. I'm gonna just call you E for now until you tell me the correct way to pronounce it. I think it's Erie though. Thank you for being here. Actually, it was posted 19 hours ago. Yeah, Trump's about to go off. I'm sure he made a phone call to Brian Kemp recently. All right, let's check this one out then, because I have not seen this yet. But shout out to Chelsea for letting me know about that.
We've got to start with you, Ashley. Congratulations. You must be very happy and probably
Ashley
not
was
surprised.
cooking, Fani.
I don't know if I'm surprised or not. I mean, when they canceled the oral arguments, I sort of was reading tea leaves and thinking, well, that's going to go well for us because normally they don't cancel oral arguments if they're going to rule against us. So I thought that was probably a good thing. But, it's one of those things you get an email with the docket notice saying, with the opinion and you have no idea and you open it. I mean, it's just like Christmas when, you didn't know Christmas was actually coming today.
Yep.
So it's like,
yeah, congratulations to
under
Ashley.
the tree, and you didn't even know there was a tree that was happening today. So it's kind of surreal. The impact of it, I don't think has quite hit me yet, but I'm very excited, very happy.
So what does it mean? Can you give a quick 411 for the non-lawyer audience of what does this mean?
Yeah, definitely. So the Court of Appeals has said that they agreed with us that there was an appearance of impropriety, and it was enough that Fani Willis should not be on the case. So she and all of her deputies were disqualified. And so what that means practically is the case will be assigned to what's called PAC. It's the Prosecuting Attorneys Council, and they'll be the ones that will review it. And I've said from day one, if we had an independent prosecutor, someone who wasn't financially or politically interested in the outcome of this case, it would never see the light of the day. It's not a case that would ever be brought. I mean, there's, hardly probable cause. You could indict just about anything. So you can find probable cause in just about anything. But I think if you had a neutral prosecutor looking at it, they're going to say, no way, this is ridiculous. We have other cases. This case is not, it doesn't rise to the level of a crime. And we just don't think that this is where we should be prosecuting cases. So I think that it will essentially die on the vine once it goes to an independent prosecutor. I don't think Fani Willis is going to go away quietly, though. I've already got a notice of intent, just got it on email, where she plans on appealing to the Supreme Court. So the question will be whether or not they even want to touch it. It's a good opinion. So I don't think the Supreme Court is going to have any interest in dabbling in this, but we'll see.
The Georgia Supreme Court. Here is Fani Willis trying to make this case, because it resulted in a hearing, of course, at which she embarrassed herself, about you and your alleged lies. Watch this.
Adam Abadi, I thought, did an excellent job.
We watched this yesterday.
How dishonest you were with the court on Monday, and I'm actually surprised that the hearing continued. But since it did, here I am.
Did you meet with Mr. Wade and talk to him about the motion that I filed to disqualify you?
On this first January motion?
Yes.
I don't know if you could say talked about. I probably had some choice words about some of the things that you said that were dishonest within this motion. But it seems today that a lawyer writes a lie and then it's printed for all of the world to see. When I met him.
Oh, man. This lady has the nerve to act like she hasn't done any of this. Not to mention, she had a separate hearing. If you guys remember, we covered this live. She was subpoenaed to appear at that hearing, and she didn't even show up. It's embarrassing, man. This whole thing is embarrassing. The Fani Willis to her office, and looking back at this is bad. Which we might review this hearing again, just because Ashley Merchant does a great job here, and it really gives light and shows to kind of the attitude and the way that the DA's office moves in general.
Judge Reeves introduced us. He handed me his business card. I'm unsure if I handed him my business card, but we exchanged information. He said, if you ever need any help, give me a call. And he walked to the parking lot.
So after that, you started dating shortly thereafter, correct?
A lie. That's one of your lies.
Okay.
Well, that's not how really the trial court saw it or the appellate court saw it. And, you tell me whether you think you're going to be getting an apology now from Fani Willis for publicly accusing you of being a liar.
Yeah, right.
I don't think I'll be holding my breath for that, and I don't know that I've ever been called a liar so many times. And, I just kept thinking, like, what is it that you think I'm lying about? Because just about everything that I've alleged has turned out to be true. And if something wasn't, it wasn't not true. We fought over the term cohabitate. We fought over the term whether or not you cohabitated. And that was one of her big things, saying, oh, I lied because they didn't live together. And I was using the Georgia definition of cohabitation that we have in the criminal code. If you spend the night together in someone's bed at their house, that's considered cohabitation under Georgia law. So, that was the big, oh, you're lying because we didn't live together. Well, you cohabitated. And so, I think we were just playing with words at that point. But no, I certainly am not going to be holding my breath for an apology anytime soon. But I can't believe how many times I've been called a liar in the year 2024. I sort of feel like I should try and come up with a New Year's resolution having to do with that.
I think you're good. You don't need a resolution. You've already gotten a decision that declares effectively what you said was true, and it was deeply problematic. Phil Holloway, you said it from the beginning as well, that this absolutely is untoward behavior, and that you can't have, just so people are reminded of what the controversy was, you can't have the sitting DA with a financial incentive to make the case go on, not because of her own job, she has that no matter what, but because she's having an affair with a special prosecutor she brought in who does get paid based on how long the case goes on. He's getting money from the county if it goes on longer. If it ends, he doesn't. And he was taking her all over the world. I said, after that case, I was ready to have an affair with Nathan Wade. I would love to see Belize. He takes you everywhere.
Oh,
weird,
Megan,
man.
great to be with you. Look, I think Ashley needs to go ahead and legally change her name to Erin Brockovich, because if it weren't for, her, just unending and undying, zealous advocacy for her client, we wouldn't be here right now talking about this. Look, this opinion is absolutely spectacular. I urge everybody to read it. I tweeted out a lot of it, but there's a lot there. And the odor of mendacity, that phrase, okay, which is, of course, the catchphrase now everybody associates with this case, that features prominently in this ruling. Even went into a footnote and
that just remind the audience where we got that from.
Oh, okay. So yeah, the judge said, look, her testimony, that and that of Wade, had the quote odor of mendacity, and which means, and as the Court of Appeals
YSL
defined in a
Barbie.
footnote, they said, look, odor of mendacity. Mendacity means like dishonesty and falseness. Okay. And so this is the type of appearance of conflict of interest. Now, they didn't find an actual conflict, but they said this is the kind of appearance of impropriety, appearance of a conflict of interest that does warrant her removal from the case. And there is no other remedy that will suffice. The trial judge said, look, we're going to cure this by just making her get rid of Mr. Wade. The Court of Appeals, I think, correctly said, that's all fine and good, but that doesn't cure what she did in the past. It doesn't cure the conflict of interest or the really egregious appearance of a conflict of interest. And so it was all that stuff. It was the Nathan Wade stuff. It was the mendacity, the smell, if you will, of her testimony. And then, of course, it was also all these out-of-court statements that she made where she goes into the well of a church and she slimes the defendants in front of, by the way, a pool of potential jurors. Okay, you can't try cases on the courthouse steps, let alone in the well of a church filled with potential jurors on the case. And so it was all.
And that was nasty work too. If y'all didn't see that, I recommend you go watch it, and I'll see if I can find it for you. But she went into a church and basically said, "Oh, I'm being attacked. This is terrible. How could they do this to me?" As the case is ongoing, she's in a church talking about this. And this was actually mentioned during the YSL trial and a couple of the motions that Brian Steele had written up talking about Judge Glanville being in there, some of the misconduct by the DA's office, and then pointing to Fani Willis, the head of the DA's office, as the example. And there was time after time after time not showing up for a hearing that she was subpoenaed for. pretty much Fani Willis doing whatever she wants to. And the sad thing about this is Fulton County, they didn't care and they voted her in for another 4 years. It's it's frustrating as someone who wants to make a change and who sees what's going on behind the scenes. And I actually put my feet to the pavement. I went out and vote. We talked about it here. I know a lot of you in the chat and in the comments are in Fulton County and watched this. And we tried to make a change. And unfortunately, here we are. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Maybe some of this karma will come back. I don't know.
All of these things put together,
it's embarrassing,
that
man.
I think made this the right opinion. And it's for, just like Ashley said, the Georgia Supreme Court, I predict, is not going to want to touch this. This case is effectively over. It's dead. It's dying. It's not going to be revived by the Prosecuting Attorneys Council of Georgia, in my view.
Wow. I mean, that's just huge. I'm going to bring Mike in too in a second, but Ashley's got to leave in a minute. So I want to go back to you, Ashley. Did you really believe when you filed this thing initially that it could effectively, potentially end the whole case?
I did. I mean, I thought that it was something that was large enough and something that was deep enough that it could effectively end it. But I knew that it would take some really strong judges to give us, every step we had to win. We had to win a hearing. That was the first one, So when we filed it, it's crazy because this time last year I was writing the motion, getting ready. I mean, I spent the holidays preparing it and, editing it with my law partner, with my husband, and getting it ready to be filed in early January.
Texting with Terrence Bradley.
Yeah. Talking to Terrence Bradley. Exactly. Talking to Terrence Bradley. He was away for the holidays, and I remember waiting until he got back from the holidays to sort of verify all the facts with him.
Yeah, shout out to Terrence.
So it was a year ago thinking about what's going to happen with this. And I knew that we were going to have to fight. So we were going to have to take every step of the way. We were going to have to another fight. We had to make sure that the judge gave us a hearing because we needed that hearing, and then we needed the judge to issue a strong order. And even though Judge McAfee didn't rule with us, he issued a strong order and he made factual findings that were really strong. I'd hoped that Fani Willis would do the right thing, but she dug in. She did the expected thing, knowing her, she dug in. But, so, I knew that it had the potential to completely derail the case if we won at every step of the way. But I also knew that was going to be a really long haul. And I knew that it was going to be something where they dug in a lot and fought vehemently. You've seen how much they wanted to keep this case. But, one thing I want to point out is the more they dug in, the more you could see that they were biased, because these are government employees. If most of the time, if you say a judge is biased or you say a DA is biased, they say, okay, send it to someone else. That's immediately when you file a motion to recuse someone or disqualify, normally they're like, bye, because who wants more work when you're a government salaried employee? You usually don't want extra work. So normally the normal response would be, disqualify me, let someone else look at it. I feel so strongly about the facts of my case that if you had a neutral and detached prosecutor, they're going to come to the same conclusion. So I don't need to have a personal stake in this case. So when we saw her dig in and not do that, that said all we needed to know. That said, you definitely do have a personal stake in this case.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, it could have been that she was seeing the world thanks to Nathan Wade's additional money, and it could have been hatred of Donald Trump. Either way, it's inappropriate. Hatred toward the defendant is not an appropriate motivator for a DA. She's supposed to just seek justice.
Exactly.
What was your client's reaction when you told him the news?
Yeah, so I got to call him this morning, and getting to make a call like that is pretty exciting. I'm not gonna lie, that's a pretty special moment, and so we definitely had a special moment. We were teared up over it, and in shock, and kudos to him, because I couldn't do it without him having the fortitude to fight. I mean, he was offered a misdemeanor reckless conduct plea. He was offered one of the first pleas in this case, and he rejected it.
Bad.
So he could have taken a plea last September, be done with this, and he had the guts to fight. And he had to authorize me doing this, had to authorize that me. I have autonomy in my job, but I'm also not going to do something like this without my client's approval. And so, I'm really proud of him for having the guts. Most people wouldn't have the ability to turn down a misdemeanor when they're faced with a RICO charge. And so, I was proud of him, and he was proud of me. So we had a special moment.
Yeah, really absolutely. Great attorney, man. Shout out to Ashley Merchant. If you could have someone that could represent you, there's some great attorneys out here in Fulton County. Now Fulton County is just up to us to do the right thing and make a change with our vote. Cause man, aren't y'all sick of Fani Willis? Man, it'll be interesting to see how this goes moving forward. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments. And shout out to my dog, Dr. EJ up in here, just dropped and gifted 10 memberships. If you got a membership from Dr. EJ, please make sure that you say thank you. My goodness. And we're just about, it seems like we're about to go down the Fani Willis rabbit hole because y'all are saying you want to see the church speech. This is bad. And I saw someone else bring up Terrence. What was his last name? Terrence. Was it Terrence Bradley? I don't remember his last name. But Chelsea said Wade's friend Terrence was telling on the stand and Ashley had receipts of texts while Terrence was trying to unsuccessfully pull a Woody on Ashley. Yeah, Terrence Bradley was feeling Ashley Merchant for sure. Was it Brad? No, it's just, I'll just say Terrence. I don't remember his name. Either way, if y'all want to see some great coverage on this and you want to do a little bit of a rewind and see someone who broke it down as this trial went on, please go check out and watch the lead attorney on this. He did an absolutely amazing job. I watched it while he was covering it, and so much great insight into this. And y'all know, if you've seen the lead attorney before, he's just a great YouTuber and enjoyable to watch, and a great content creator as well. So is it Terrence Bradley? I don't remember, but either way, yeah, he was Terrence was over there tripping and he was telling Ashley Merchant everything. Do y'all want to see, let me know, do y'all want to see this part of Fani Willis's speech that she did at a church? I think this would be kind of a fun rewind to do. So we'll probably do it here in a second. But before I do that, y'all just let me know if you want me to cover it. Let me get into what happened this morning. So let me go back here and change this. And then we'll get into it. I think y'all are saying, yeah, you want to see it. Yeah, it was at Bethel. Yep, at Big Bethel. That's what TLA said. Yeah, absolutely. Make sure y'all go support and show some love to the lead attorney. So as I mentioned earlier, Fani Willis, she is not giving up without a fight. She filed, of course, an appeal. She wants to fight this. And for some unknown reason, we're going to call it ego, she thinks that she should be allowed to stay on this case. We've got this over from Hugo on X. Y'all make sure you go check him out. I'll have the link to this in the description. He says, new Fulton County DA Fani Willis files notice that she will appeal her disqualification from the Trump case to the Georgia Supreme Court. Do y'all think the Georgia Supreme Court is really going to overturn this decision? I don't think so. What did they say? It says the state of Georgia appellee, the state's notice of intent to petition the Supreme Court of Georgia for writ of, I cannot say that word. I could, but I didn't do my research and figure out how to pronounce it. So, sir, I'm not even going to try. To the clerk of court of appeals of Georgia, you are hereby notified that it is the intent of the state of Georgia appellee to petition the Supreme Court of Georgia for a writ of something to review the Division 2 of the Honorable Court's December 19, 2024 decision in the appellate's favor in the above styled case regarding disqualification. See State versus Tyson, such and such. Holding that the constitutional provision providing the Georgia Supreme Court to review by that word causes cases in the state of Georgia Court of Appeals gives the state the right to file a petition for the review of any decision by the Court of Appeals in the defendant's favor in the criminal case. All right, this notice complies with the Court of Appeals Rule 36A1 as it is made within the 10 days after the December 19th, 2024, this date, the date of the court's judgment. So now she filed this less than 24 hours after they made their decision. So she's not going to go down without a fight. She's letting them know this is coming. Ashley Merchant mentioned that in her last interview. Well, let's look into more of what's going on with Fani Willis and why she thinks she would be able to appeal this in the first place. Hopefully they don't play this ad again. Hold on.
It takes your breath away.
Of course they play the ad. Fani Willis removed from Trump's election interference case, appeals court rules. Courts have been weighing whether Fani Willis should continue in the case because of her romantic relationship with ex-special prosecutor Nathan Wade. Here we go. Let's see what Fani Willis is saying over here.
Live at 5. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis removed from leading the indictment of President-elect Donald Trump and his allies for election interference.
This is all because of a relationship that Willis had with the case's top prosecutor. Atlanta News First political reporter Doug Reardon is live outside the state appellate court tonight, where that decision came down just hours ago. Doug.
Good evening to you both. You know, Willis already appealed the decision that came out of this appellate court to the Georgia Supreme Court. It will be up to them as to whether or not they decide to take that case up. But regardless, this decision, if it stands, is going to have some pretty wide-ranging impacts for all defendants here in Georgia, not just Donald Trump and his allies.
Yep.
In their decision Thursday, appeals court judges said Willis's relationship with the top prosecutor on the Trump case, Nathan Wade, eroded public confidence in the prosecution to the point where she had to go. The court saying the relationship created
this
a
in
significant
the
appearance
YSL
of
trial,
impropriety, an appearance that must be removed. Stephen Sadow, Trump's Georgia attorney, calling the decision well-reasoned and just. The decision puts an end to a politically motivated persecution of the next president of the United States, he said in a statement to Atlanta News First.
The Court of Appeals can handle it whatever way they want.
There were no oral arguments in the case, only a written decision from the appeals judges. The same day it came down, Willis almost immediately appealed the decision. Attorney Josh Schiffer thinks the state Supreme Court will want to hear it.
The Georgia Supreme Court now has an opportunity to set forth a policy that's solid for the entire state. It's an opportunity for clarity from the Georgia Supreme Court.
Schiffer says while the impacts of Willis's removal will certainly impact Trump's prosecution, it will also have meaning for anyone charged with a crime in Georgia.
This is the case that will be cited.
Which is interesting to see.
That you're being prosecuted unfairly by a prosecutor because of a conflict. Prior to this in Georgia, if you believed as a criminal defendant that your prosecutor had some sort of conflict, it was almost impossible to get any kind of a remedy from the court system.
So the decision to remove Willis here at the appellate court was 2-1. All three judges on that three-judge panel were appointed by Republicans. In downtown Atlanta, Doug Reardon, Atlanta News First.
All right, so there it is. That's what's going on behind Fani Willis, as we just learned. Let's see why she's appealing this. All right, so the Georgia Court of Appeals has removed Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis from her role as a prosecutor of her historic election interference indictment against the president-elect Donald Trump. The case against Trump and more than a dozen others had already been largely stalled for months while the court considered the pre-trial appeal, which is a win for Ashley Merchant. And the reason it was stalled is because of everything that she went through, all the work she had been putting in, as Phil Holloway mentioned. But the court did not dismiss the indictment entirely, leaving the future of the prosecution uncertain. This is going to be dismissed. I can almost guarantee it's going to be dismissed. The decision means it will be up to the Prosecuting Attorneys Council of Georgia to find another prosecutor to take over the case and decide whether to pursue it. Though that could be delayed because a few hours after the decision was filed, Willis's office filed a notice of intent to ask the Georgia Supreme Court to review the decision, citing an appearance of impropriety by Willis that might not typically warrant such a removal. The court said in the 2-1 ruling that this is the rare case in which disqualification is mandated and no other remedy will suffice to restore public confidence in the integrity of these proceedings. It's very similar and eerily similar to what Judge Krause said when she was removing Judge Glanville, essentially saying, okay, maybe you didn't actually do anything wrong, but how is the public going to look at this? And are they going to look at, how did they put it, the confidence in the integrity of these proceedings? How are they going to view that moving forward? And the same thing was said about Glanville. Interesting point there. The Court of Appeals can handle it whatever way they want, as long as it is within the rules or within their rules. And that's exactly what they did. Josh Schiffer, an Atlanta attorney, said the Georgia Supreme Court now has an opportunity to set forth a policy that's solid for the entire state. It's an opportunity for clarity from the Georgia Supreme Court. I'm kind of sad about the timing of this, because I think if a lot of this had come out before we had the election here in Fulton County, this maybe would have changed, or would have been some more information for the voters to see what's going on behind the scenes with the district attorney's office. We got to wait another 4 years, and who knows what's going to happen by then. Either way, the court had set a December 5th date for oral arguments in this case, which would have revolved around Willis's romantic relationship with the special prosecutor she had hired to investigate Trump, which was Nathan Wade. However, 2 weeks before the scheduled hearing, the court abruptly canceled it with no explanation. Ashley Merchant was in there putting in work. Schiffer said the ultimate outcome of this case will impact all defendants in Georgia, not just Trump and his allies who are charged in the indictment. This is the case that will be cited if you feel that you are being prosecuted unfairly by a prosecutor because of a conflict, Schiffer said. Prior to this in Georgia, if you believed as a criminal defendant that your prosecutor had some sort of conflict, it was almost impossible to get any kind of remedy from the court system. In August of 2021, Willis handed up a historic series of indictments against Trump, accusing him and 17 of his GOP allies, including former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani, of engaging in a criminal conspiracy to overturn Georgia's 2020 election results. Interestingly enough, I don't know if I've mentioned this to you guys before, but Fani Willis actually went to the White House with the mayor of Atlanta and met with Kamala Harris before this indictment actually came down, which is really interesting. We're not going to get into that whole thing, but something to note. The election saw Joe Biden defeat Trump in Georgia by less than 17,000 votes. On his way to the White House, Biden became the first Democrat since Bill Clinton in 1992 to carry Georgia or any other deep southern state. But a since acknowledged romantic relationship between Willis and Nathan Wade threw the case into an entirely new political and judicial spectrum. And now that Trump has become the 45th president-elect, Willis, who was reelected in her own right on election day, and her prosecution was faced with even more uncertainty. Steve Sadow, Trump's lead attorney in Georgia, said the ruling was well-reasoned and just. He said the appeals court highlighted that Willis's misconduct created an odor of mendacity, we just talked about, and an appearance of impropriety that could only be cured by the disqualification of her and her entire office. This decision puts an end to politically motivated persecution of the next president of the United States, Sadow wrote in an email statement. Since her indictment, 4 of Trump's co-defendants have reached plea deals with her office, but Trump and several others, including Giuliani and Trump's former White House chief of staff, Mark Meadows, continue maintaining their innocence. Right, and we can see everybody that was mentioned here, where Donald Trump's co-defendants stand in their Georgia indictments. Sidney Powell, she made a deal. This is interesting. David Schaefer, no deal. Ryan Smith, no deal. Man, so many of these people in here just because of Fani Willis had some agenda she was trying to push. And we know how she is with Rico too. Y'all know 45, 47 up there. No deal, no deal, no deal, no deal. Insane. Willis suffered numerous recent setbacks in late 2024 in her attempt to prosecute Trump, also in the YSL trial. Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee dismissed 2 charges Willis had filed against Trump. The Georgia Prosecuting Attorneys Council declined to charge Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones in a probe into alleged 2020 election interference in the state. Pete S., Executive Director of the Prosecuting Attorneys Council of Georgia, said Jones was acting in his capacity as an alternate elector who wished to certified Georgia's 2020 election in favor of Trump. That decision was also announced the same day Willis defied a subpoena from a state Senate committee investigating her conduct in Trump's indictment. And we saw this happen live. If y'all missed it, go back and watch the live and the video I clipped of that. Fani Willis just didn't show up. And the gentleman that was presiding over the meeting, he asked the guy who was at the door. He said, "Hey, is Fani Willis here?" He went out and checked, looked in the hallway. Fani Willis was nowhere to be found. She just decided not to show up. And we looked and tried to find more information about what could happen to her for defying that subpoena and not showing up. And really all that could happen to her is a fine of some sort, which is insane. After Trump's reelection to the White House, CNN reported Willis was allowed to remain on the case. It would almost certainly be imperiled now. Yeah, for sure. The Associated Press contributed to this report, and shout out to the Associated Press and, of course, Atlanta News First, who's been doing some great coverage, not only this YSL trial, but what's been going on here in Fulton County too. So let me know what y'all think about that, man. Is Fani Willis done? Is this going to be the final blow to her resume? She's been racking up the RICO indictments. Fulton County, we got to do better. Shout out to everybody who's in here too. Thank y'all so much for being here. We still have over 1,800 of y'all, 700 of you like the video. Y'all please like the video. I'm going to keep begging until we get to at least 50% likes. Take a second and like the video. It's free. I don't know her name. Rachel told Phil Holloway on Inside the Law. Okay, y'all are talking about some other things in there. Rice Street said, I choose Fani. Rice Street, man. Get out of here. Stop it. If Trump wasn't trying to extort votes, we wouldn't be here. No, he won. Take this L, Rice Street. You and your girl, Fani. We don't get y'all out of here. Let me see. What else are y'all in here saying? Shout out to everybody who stopped by too. Good to see y'all in here as always. Beverly's in the building. Antoinette's in here. I guess Rice Street's in here as well. Shout out to Rice Street. And then, oh, thank y'all for liking the video too. I appreciate everybody who liked. So y'all were saying you did want to see this part of this church. Man, we are just having a Fani Willis marathon right now. I don't know how much of this I can take. This is hard to watch. Good to see you, Black Butterfly. I'll play some of this and then we'll get into our next topic because we got to talk about Tony Buzbee and Jay-Z. This speech Fani Willis gave at the church is wild, y'all. So if you haven't seen it, we'll do a little bit of a Fani Willis rewind here. Oh my gosh. Good morning, Lulu. Mr. Tesla, good morning. Good morning. Let me see if I can find this. And also, shout out to Catnon Williams. Looks like we have some more news about Tony Buzbee. This Tony Buzbee, Jay-Z situation, Alex Spiro, has been so entertaining. I love watching these attorneys go back and forth. It's like we're watching an episode of, oh gosh, what was that show? What was that show on Netflix with the lawyers? Yeah, somebody help me. I can't even think of it. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe I'm drawing a blank on that. Somebody help me. What was the name of the show? That's going to drive me crazy. No, not Better Call Saul. The one with gosh. Suits. Thank you. Shout out to for always, forever, for life. Suits. Why couldn't I think of that? I feel like we're watching an episode of Suits with everything that's going on between Jay-Z and Tony Buzbee. Well, we'll get into that in a second. Thank y'all. Yeah, it was Suits. Eyes wide shut. Oh my. I've never seen that actually. Lincoln Lawyer. That's a good one too. All right, here we go. So Fani Willis, back while all of this was going down, almost a year ago now, where she was getting in trouble for her relationship with Nathan Wade, all while trying to prove that the president-elect Donald Trump was the one who was trying to influence the 2020 election. She goes to a church and gives this insane speech, which just as a professional conduct, she shouldn't be doing. She shouldn't be talking about this, but we all know Fani knows how to play the game. Y'all check this out and let me know what you think. Wild.
I'm gonna ask y'all to give me a minute.
It's tough.
You know, I have some notes here, and at some points I'll go to them, and at some points I'm just gonna stray from them. But I hope y'all will be patient with me. The bishop told me I am welcome to be myself. In this very historic house of God. How many of y'all know that's what Bethel means? House of God. There is literally no place in the world I'd rather be than right here with you today.
Oh my God. Oh, this is tough.
God always brings you to that safe place where you need to be. And so the invitation to come where God's message is taught, adhered to, and celebrated is my honor. I want to acknowledge and humbly thank, first of all, my Savior, Lord Jesus Christ. But also his humble servants, Bishop Jackson, Supervisor Christy Davis Jackson, Esquire.
Oh my gosh. This is disgusting. Disgusting.
Reverend Dr. John Foster. Sister Mary Ann Foster. And Chairperson Carl Morrison, who didn't hear what they said about me, told me the invite was still good. I hope for y'all this week.
Y'all said she's going.
I don't look like what I've been through.
I can't.
Yeah, that brother's starving.
Oh man, she said I don't look like what I've been through. What is happening? This is tough, y'all. Hang in there. Oh my
I want
God.
y'all to know I pulled out my most lavish $29.99 dress from Ross. And here I stand to talk to you this morning. See, that part's funny. That's not God. Now, I must warn you, if you are looking today, this morning, to hear from a perfect person, well, he was crucified and he died for your sins. But today, what he has brought you is his very flawed, hard-headed, and imperfect servant. And so I pray for him to please use me this morning. Some people are in this place to hear the word of God. Others are here for other reasons, but my God got a way of making sure no matter why you came, you leave with his message. So the theme being celebrated today is, it starts with me.
Wait is in the audience. Yeah.
It starts with me. Shifting the cultural climate through the study and practice of Dr. King's nonviolent philosophy.
To all my psychology people out there, and I know Amy's one of them, what is this? What is this type of behavior? Is it narcissistic? Is it? I mean, because we go from this lady to this lady.
Oh, the vast majority was Cash App. I don't know what percentage, I'm not going to guess that.
These are the same people.
The vast majority was Cash App. But there would be times she would say, you know, this bill came in at $70, here goes $70.
Did you have a monthly rent amount that you paid her?
I can't remember. It was $1,400, $1,500. I can't remember what it was. And it would vary, which I don't understand to this day. But like
MPD,
I said, I never questioned her.
When did you
Whatever
move out?
she said it was, that's what I paid.
So we go from that lady to this lady.
So I'm gonna start here. When I researched the history of this monumental church, two words just jumped off the page at me. And the words were this: this church is built on faith and resilience. the hard-headed, flawed, imperfect servant before you is built and is being constantly chiseled on faith and resilience. I smiled when I read the description. I knew God was
hard to watch, y'all.
I'm sending you where you need to be. I was invited here to give you a message, but yet my God does what he always does. He brought a message to me.
Oh, she had a message from the Lord.
This child needed reminding. So I want to talk to you today about what it's required to be a soldier in this warfare. And that's what it is. Warfare to shift the cultural climate. I must reveal to you a secret though. Oh, wait for it, they want to know. The journey is ugly. The journey is painful. The journey is full of pitfalls. But if you are one of his children, you must answer the purpose. You must answer the call. Y'all don't hear me. You must answer the mandate. The question becomes, are you qualified?
Is she qualified?
And it really comes down to this. How much are you personally willing to sacrifice for the greater good and his purpose? How much? I want you to really sit and think about that question. How much are you willing to sacrifice for God's purpose?
She's doing God's work.
See, I must confess to you, as a little girl, I really did not think that Dr. Martin Luther King's dream would still be just a work in progress. I thought by 2024, as a 52-year-old woman, that certainly us humans would have gotten it together. That the cultural shift would have already taken place. I thought by now, well, we would all just be getting along. Boy, was I wrong. Now, right now, as much
y'all
as
see it,
any
Michelle.
time in history, we need a cultural shift. As Americans have normalized, some of y'all say that with me, Americans have normalized.
Hold on.
When I abruptly moved out.
It's the same
February, either late January. I paid her half the rent of February of 22 is what I remember.
Sean?
And because I was offering to pay the whole rent, even though I didn't live there, I didn't think it was right. Him moving out, and what he decided was the risk of COVID was more dangerous than the risk of the people that were threatening. Typical man, more worried about his daughter and his grandchildren than his own safety. You'll get to meet him and you'll understand he doesn't scare too easily.
So your grand.
Okay.
They've normalized cruelty. They've
the same
normalized
person.
bigotry. They've normalized hate.
Yes, they voted Fanny back
Many
in.
of our youth and adults have no respect for authority.
We got a lot of work to do.
See, they criticize me
Here we
for who
go.
my earthly father is and my heavenly one. Let me tell you about this earthly daddy of mine. See, my father is one of the few Americans living who was actually able to meet and spend time with Dr. Martin Luther King. And he's an older man now. Don't tell him I said it, y'all. And he's told me often, you see how now you look around and on every corner they have Dr. Martin Luther King's picture. And anywhere you go, they are celebrating Dr. King. He said, well, that's not how it was when he was here. Oh, we gonna tell the truth this morning. He tells me, you see, when Dr. King was here, I've seen him very hurt. My father's revealed to me he's seen him in moments where
Probably, Amy.
Dr. King was saddened. He was saddened because people were cruel to him, unsupportive. Even some people he thought were naturally in his camp. He told me that there were those that were jealous.
Fani Willis thinks she's not Martin Luther King.
Took a lot of abuse.
Mm.
He says Dr. King was a great man, a prophet, he calls him. He said he was filled with good and kindness, and the only thing he wanted to do was make the world a more equitable place. He said Dr. King was not a perfect man, but he was a great man.
Who's she talking to?
Willing to answer God's call. You all, this week at one point, because they told me I could be honest with y'all, I became so in need of my source, I stopped. And to tap in, I penned a letter to my Heavenly Father.
This is
His grandkids were living at the house as well at that time?
Well, I don't know how old your children are, but when you have adult children, they leave and they come back. They leave and they come back. So there have been periods of time that they're there, they come, they do whatever they want to do. Children do what children do. As long as their mother has a house, they'll come to it. Unfortunately, now the threats because of this case have gotten so extreme. I just pay a mortgage and no one lives there.
And that's what I was going to ask you. So when you moved out in, I think you said April 2021, you left your dad and your two kids at the house?
My dad and my two kids were not at the house.
They were not? Okay, so they didn't still live at your house?
Uh-oh.
My youngest daughter certainly did not live there. Okay. My oldest daughter would come back and forth.
She about to fight
I can't say
Ashley.
month for month when she was there or when she was not there. I know that she has been there post me moving out. At this time, no one is at my house.
So at some point after you moved out for the safety reasons, at least one of your children did come back to the
Merchant,
house.
can we get to either the relationship or the financial benefit?
Yes.
It's the same lady.
I desperately needed to tap in to that one source.
Nathan Wade.
See, God knows my heart, my joys,
Yes.
my pains,
Mm.
my sins, my flaws. I am one of his hard-headed children, so he must get me together often.
Come on.
I'm telling the truth.
And she's talking about Nathan Wade getting her together. Y'all know what I mean.
This morning. But see, in my life, I have experienced things that have taught me Jesus is the only source I can only rely on every time and all the time. I wondered if it was okay with you to share this letter I wrote this week to my God.
No, I can't do it. I can't do it, y'all. I can't do it. What do y'all think about Miss Fani Willis, man? If you haven't seen that, I suggest y'all go watch the whole thing. And again, the lead attorney did a great job covering this in real time when it happened about a year ago. So y'all make sure you go check him out. Wow. It's tough. What are y'all saying in here? Amy said that's the devil speaking. Oh. She couldn't and can't handle Ashley. No, Ashley absolutely cooked Fani Willis. My goodness. PD Broker said I'm wrong for that. I'm just saying that's what I thought she was talking about. At least she's not paying off corn stars. Oh, so two consenting adults is worse than abusing the justice system, right, Street? I see how you could compare. I love you too, Amy. You know she was talking about Nathan Wade. She was having flashbacks. She said, Yes, what'd she say? What'd she say here?
It's things that have
She said he gonna get me right, or what'd she say?
together often.
Oh yeah, here we go.
My flaws.
Wait for it.
I am one of his hard-headed children, So he must get me together often.
No, Lord. Hey, shout out to Nathan Wade, man. He must get me together often. Oh my gosh. Lord have mercy. She deserves an Academy Award for the Best Actress, acting like she is the modern day Harriet Tubman. Oh, Lord have mercy. Compare a church section with the courtroom section where she says she prefers Grey Goose. Oh, man, y'all see? She said, get me together. Lord, what are we talking about here? All right, we're going to... Y'all are hilarious, man. And the ratchetness continues because we got to get at Tony Buzbee here. Tony Buzbee is coming under fire. But before we get to that, let me see what y'all are saying, man. Thank you all for the super chats. We've got Tracy Fagan in here with the 2 bombs. She says, the show I was talking about, was it the Real House Lawyers are stupid? Dang. We've got Wendy DeB with the 5 bomb says, he did try to influence the election. It's been well documented. Her bad behavior has allowed Donald Trump to again get away with more BS. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Fani Willis, for letting Donald Trump get away with BS. We need him right now. So I'm glad she did. Let him get away with the BS. This country needs that, man. Whether y'all like it or not. Samantha Crumbly says, hypocrisy. Oh, man. I promise y'all, you did not want 4 more years of this current. I'm just, trust me on that. Anyway, it was for the best. Fani Willis did her job. Thank you, Fani, for all your work. Let's go ahead and get into Mr. Tony Buzbee. Oh, Lord, Tony Buzbee is in trouble. It's about to go down. XXL Magazine just put this article out on Tony Buzbee. Tony Buzbee is coming under fire. He's getting sued, getting more shots from Jay-Z and Rock Nation. And y'all, it's really about to go down between these 2 lawyers in this case. One being Alex, the other being Tony, and Jay-Z is speaking up as well. Check this out. What does XXL Magazine say? Rock Nation refers to the attorney Tony Buzbee as Mr. 1-800. Oh my gosh. Following Buzbee's accusations against the company. Buzbee, who's representing a woman claiming Jay-Z and Diddy assaulted her, sued Rock Nation and other lawyers yesterday for alleging paying past and present clients to sue his firm. A rep for Rock Nation called the lawsuit baloney. Alex Spiro, I believe it is, Alex Spiro, Jay-Z's attorney, filed a motion yesterday to prevent Buzbee from destroying relevant evidence as it pertains to the alleged assault case against the rapper. And we're going to get into that shortly. Spiro maintains that Buzbee did not do a thorough investigation into the woman's claims against Jay-Z, which Tony Buzbee admitted. This is insane. In addition, Spiro is asking the court to dismiss Jane Doe's claims and strike the allegations reference Jay-Z and dismiss him from this action. What did they say here? Mr. 1-800 said today that Rock Nation is criminally responsible for his legal woes with ex-clients / ex-lover who is accusing him of transmitting of venereal diseases. Oh, assaulting, falsifying documents, and stealing clients' monies. No and no. God is behind that sunlight you keep referencing. We are not the source of every sunlight that you get, but rock sunshine is coming your way, Mr. 1-800. Shameful. Oh my gosh, Rock Nation cooking this guy. What are they talking about? We're going to get into this article from TMZ. Y'all are wondering, we're talking about STIs and venereal diseases. What happened? Well, Tony Buzbee is being sued. And this is getting absolutely crazy. Diddy's accuser, attorney Tony Buzbee, sued for allegedly giving a woman an STI. Now, y'all know I don't report rumors. So if it's a rumor, I wait and see what's happening. But this lawsuit is real and it's actually happening. It's absolutely insane. He says it's a smear campaign. Check this out. Tony Buzbee, the high-profile attorney who's filed multiple lawsuits against Diddy and one against Jay-Z, is now accused of infecting a woman he dated with a venereal disease.
What? These niggas lacking.
According to a new lawsuit filed in New York Supreme Court, the accuser, identified as Jane Doe, says Buzbee has taken advantage of her since 2018 when they first met during an online conversation. The woman said the Texas-based lawyer charmed her and convinced her to go out on a date. She says she ventured to Buzbee's hometown of Houston to grab dinner with him before they took in a show. After the performance, the woman said Buzbee booked a room at a 5-star hotel where he seduced her. The two allegedly had adult stuff, without Buzbee revealing he had a venereal disease, which is not specifically named in the suit. The woman says after she left the hotel the next day, she started to feel uncomfortable sensations in her you-know-what area. This is tough, man. Prompting her to meet with a doctor who tested her and determined she had a sexually transmitted disease from her encounter with Buzbee. Immediately, the woman says she contacted Buzbee to deliver the bad news, and he apologized to her, but seemed unsurprised because she claims he already knew he had a venereal disease. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm usually not this messy, but this is the lawsuit. This is what's going on. Again, this is like an episode of Suits. This is absolutely amazing. I really hope they keep going back and forth like this for several months, so at least we can get a short series or a limited series from Netflix, because this is amazing. The woman goes on to say Buzbee asked her not to disclose her diagnosis to anyone and vowed to provide free legal advice as compensation. The woman says she was filled with shame and grief, but continued to hook up with Buzbee, who allegedly kept her on a short leash so he could manipulate her into keeping his secrets under wraps. The woman says Buzbee invited her on trips to Panama and New York, where he owned a home. TMZ broke the story. According to a complaint the woman filed last month, Buzbee flew into a fit of rage and pushed a champagne flute into her face while they were at a bar during one of their New York City trips. The woman says she has both medical and dental records to prove she suffered injuries, including a chipped tooth. Buzbee tells TMZ her lawsuit is a criminal conspiracy to discredit and intimidate him from pursuing claims in the Diddy litigation. He calls the suit false, frivolous, laughable, and ridiculous, and will be dismissed along with other suits. He says he has reported the lawyer who filed the latest suit to the relevant legal authorities and will be taking legal action against him and his client. We got a little bit of anything you can do, I can do better here. I mean, Tony, this is the game that you play. Even on your website, it says, hey, this is what we do. We put things out there on social media. We play these games and we use the public's opinion to our advantage. So you can't get mad when it happens to you. I mean, obviously, still on this channel, I will always maintain, no matter what comes out, that you are innocent until proven guilty. That's what we believe here. But man, Tony, hey, if you can't take the heat, you got to get out the kitchen, man. What else do we have going on with Tony Buzbee? This is hilarious. In escalating legal feud, Tony Buzbee files a lawsuit against Roc Nation. Oh my gosh, this has happened a couple days ago. The legal feud between rapper Jay-Z and celebrity lawyer Tony Buzbee escalated Wednesday with the filing of yet another lawsuit. The attorneys Buzbee's law firm filed a suit against Roc Nation, the entertainment company founded by Jay-Z, as well as lawyer Marcy Croft, which we got into in a previous video, and law firm Quinn Emanuel, accusing all three of violating various Texas state laws, all allegedly offering a former client money in exchange for suing Buzbee's firm. This suit, filed in Harris County, Texas, punctuates a growing dispute between Buzbee, who represents many of the accusers in the flurry of rape cases against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, and Jay-Z, who is accused in one suit of assaulting a minor alongside Combs, which we found out and we know is not true. Marcy Croft works with Team Rock Nation's philanthropic arm. Quinn Emanuel's firm is representing Jay-Z in both Buzbee's original case against Combs and the rapper in New York, and the countersuit filed against Jay-Z in Los Angeles court. Tony Buzbee has now conjured up fantastical, I think that's how you say it, allegations against me and my firm, well-known corruption fighters, in a desperate attempt to distract from his mounting legal woes, and they are mounting indeed. We look forward to addressing these false allegations and having them dismissed, Marcy Croft shared in a statement with USA Today on Wednesday. Rock Nation echoed the sentiment, sharing in their own statement to USA Today, Tony Buzbee's baloney lawsuit against Rock Nation is nothing but another sham. It's a pathetic attempt to distract and deflect attention. This sideshow won't change the ultimate outcome, and true justice will be served soon. Buzbee announced the newest lawsuit brought on behalf of a former client of his firm Wednesday with a post on Instagram. The filings allege that agents for the lawyers posed as employees of the state of Texas, flashed fake badges, and offered the client up to $10,000 to sue Buzbee's law firm. The funding for alleged conspiracy came from Rock Nation, the suit argues. Sean Diddy Combs' alleged drug mule criminal cases dropped. The lawyer, known for taking high-profile cases, offered as evidence an alleged transcript from a call between the defendant and Buzbee's former client in which they offered to pay him. This illegal conduct has happened more than 24 times to the date and has resulted in 2 utterly frivolous cases against the firm, Buzbee wrote in a post and in a statement shared with USA Today. Buzbee was sued in November by an unnamed high-profile celebrity for shamelessly attempting to extort, exorbitant sums from him. Jay-Z has since come forward as that celebrity. This conduct was specifically targeted at our firm, so we would not pursue cases related to the Diddy litigation. Let me be clear. We will not be bullied or intimidated, he wrote. This is Buzbee. The defendants overstepped, got sloppy, and stupidly got caught in their illegal scheme on tape. All right, so this is not the end of the fight we're seeing between Tony Buzbee and Jay-Z, because we have more we're going to get into in this upcoming video, to where we have a press release from Tony Buzbee. It's still going to get wild. What do y'all think is going to happen? Who's going to come out on the winning side of this? Because, I mean, they're just throwing these punches back and forth, and we don't know what's going on. It's going to be fun to watch. I enjoy it, and I'm going to bring the latest news on this back and forth between them for you guys. Let me know what you think. Oh my gosh. Y'all are talking about J-Lo now? Yeah, I see it. Shout out to my guy, No Captivity with Freezy. Y'all go make sure you subscribe and check him out. We talking about venereal diseases? Oh my God. I can't. Oh man. Yo, this is crazy. Amy said, ooh. Oh man, we had a couple more super chats I want to get to, and thank y'all for supporting. Thank you to all 800 of you that liked the video. We're almost halfway there. Can we get 200 more likes? I know we've got 1,700 of y'all in here. If we could get to 1,000 likes, I would greatly appreciate it. And they're free. All right. We got my guy Floyd, the real deal Neil with the 2 bomb, says, you just cost yourself 800 viewers. Oh, because I'm talking about Trump. Yeah, people are mad because Trump's going to be their next president. Hey, I guess you can blame me if you want to. I did vote for him. So if you want to blame me, that's fine. But it's not going to change the fact that you got him for 4 years. All right. Shout out to JD Vance as well. Y'all can be mad. It's fine. You'll be okay. Shadow Fox with the 5 bomb says, she said it was a 20-minute drive from New York City to the burbs. Bruh. And what gas station lets a naked kid hang around for 5 hours without calling the cops?
Right. And so what we have ultimately is that there is no evidence, none.
Yeah, it makes no sense. The story made 0 sense. Michelle Warren says, we will not survive 4 more years of this administration. No. Love you, Classy Beats. Fanny, quit playing games and free yak. Come on, y'all. Man, free yak, please. Free yak. For real. Amy said, ew, gross. Yo, this lady said that man Buzbee got her messed up. They didn't say what STD or STI it was, man. And shout out to Freezy. Thank you for stopping by, my friend. Always good to see you. Y'all go show some love and subscribe to No Captivity with Freezy. Kel Bell is in the building. She said, what the heck are we talking about? Well, it's not a big deal, Kel Bell. Basically, this woman is suing Tony Buzbee for giving her a STI. What? And I will clip this and y'all will see the clip of this video over the weekend. Oh man. Good morning, everybody that's in here. Javi's in the building too. What's up? The lead attorney on this channel, Javier M. Bailey, is in the building. Shout out to Javier LaFleur and shout out to the honorable attorney Kel Bell as well. Red Bunny, oh no, says if you never caught the clap, you ain't living life.
These niggas lacking.
Red Bunny. Jesus. Oh, it got to be one that Ajax won't take off. Y'all are wild. I cannot believe y'all are saying this. Let's get into this memo. My gosh. Y'all, I can't believe y'all sometimes, man. Let's get into this memo. So again, we got Tony Buzbee, we got Jay-Z. And let me make sure I've got this headline right too. So I'm going to put the headline as Jay-Z files a new motion, but this isn't really a motion. It's just a little memo of them saying, hey, this is what we expect for y'all to do. So get ready. All right. So let's let's go. Let's go ahead and get into it. Shout out to Michelle. Welcome to the member side. She just became a new member. Thank you for being here. Amy said, ew, that's nasty. Listen, PD Broker said, I got it started. I'm just reporting the news, okay? This isn't gossip. These are actual legal documents, okay? So y'all don't blame me. If you want to blame me for Trump being in office, I'm fine with that, but not for this, okay? This isn't my fault. So I got to get it together, man. I got to get it together. Man, Tony Buzbee, listen. You started this, Tony. You could have left him alone. You could have left Jay-Z alone. Could have taken the L, but you went down this route and it's been proven that the client you took, by your own admission, you shouldn't have taken on. You didn't vet her. The story's not true. It's been discredited by her own father, who was supposed to have picked her up. The friend who dropped her off, or allegedly dropped her off, is dead. She said she made a 5-hour drive in 20 minutes. Walked to a gas station butt naked. Like, come on, man. Tony, you started this and you get what you get, man. I still believe you're innocent, especially of these most recent allegations. But man, if you're going to play the game, play the game. I'm sorry. Dear Walt Christian's in here too. Y'all show some love to Dear Walt Christian. Go give him a follow and a subscribe as well. He said Fani Willis filing an appeal is the most Fani Willis's thing she'll do today. Yeah. Oh, of course. And I'm sure there's more to come, Dear Walt Christian. Just hold on to your seats because she's not done yet. Speak for yourself. Oh man. 6 lenses in here with the 5 bomb says, just wanted to ask Is Anton's Patreon worth it? Absolutely. Shout out to the bag chasers in here. No questions asked. If I had the link, I would drop it in the chat. Shout out to my dog, Anton Daniels. Absolutely. The Patreon is worth it. Listen, I've gotten so much game from Anton Daniels. He gives so much on his channel just on a regular basis. He's got the Millionaire Morning Show. I know he's live right now, but in the Patreon specifically, especially if you want to learn about investing, see some of his investment strategies, and actually look at how he got to where he is now, some of the things that he uses from budgeting to growth on YouTube to real estate investing. It's all there in the Patreon. And I think it's only like $15 a month. So definitely, I would definitely highly recommend it to anyone who's not only wanting to be around like-minded people, but get advice from somebody who's actually in the trenches doing it every single day. Shout out to the bag chasers. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Go and support my guy, Anton Daniels, over there. And when you go over there, tell him I sent you. That's my guy. Six Lenses says, just wanted to ask, is Anton's Patreon worth it? I'm still on the fence and want your take. Keep killing it, ClassE. Trump 2025. There's nothing y'all can do about it. They tried out there in Pennsylvania, failed. Trump 2025. I'm sorry. Y'all just have to. It is what it is. Sorry if that hurts your feelings. But yeah, go show some love and support to Anton Daniels. And a lot of the stuff we do on this Music Morning Show, I modeled and learned from Anton and what he does on this Millionaire Morning Show. So yeah, he's got some great game and insight into pretty much anything in life. So yeah, shout out to the bag chasers. And if you're a bag chaser, drop the bag emoji in the chat. Dear Woke Christian is in here with the 10 bomb. He says, shameless ass for a ClassE Dear Woke Christian beat collab. Oh, I see what you're saying. ClassE Dear Woke Christian beats collab in 2025. Get the people what they need. Double points if we do a live meetup. Let's do it. Oh, we got a lot of bag chasers in here. And shout out to the bag chasers, man. Shout out to the bag chasers. We are up. It's worth every single penny. Also, Dear Woke Christian did become a new member too. So did Michelle. I appreciate y'all. All right, let me make sure I didn't miss anything else as we get into this document from Jay-Z. Rice Street's coming. Rice Street, you need to worry about yourself. Don't worry about us over here. We're good. You gotta get you. Rice Street said I'm coming. We are not scared of Rice Street anymore. Y'all got the DOJ on you. Yeah. I chase bags and jerseys. Let's go. Shout out to the bag chasers. I see we got some bag chasers in here. Trump 2025. Yeah, we definitely got to make that happen, man. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. So Jay-Z's filing a new motion. He is worried, and Jay-Z and Rock Nation specifically are concerned that something is going to happen to the evidence that was brought up during this recent lawsuit, and they want all of it to be preserved, and they also just want this case to be dismissed in general. We've seen so much evidence that's come out that has shown that this case against Jay-Z, when it comes to this girl that was allegedly 13-year-old at the time, is just, there's nothing there. All right.
And so what we have ultimately is that
our guy said it best.
Evidence, none.
So we're going to get into this, kind of see what they're asking for, what they're looking for, and find out what y'all think if this is actually going to happen. Is this case going to get dismissed, or are they going to keep moving forward? Defendant Sean Carter's memorandum, or memo, as we say for short, of law in support of his emergency motion for an order to show cause and in order to for the preservation of evidence and to strike the complaint and dismiss Mr. Carter from this action pursuant to federal RCV P12F. Here we go. We got the table of contents here. They're going to explain everything, give a background, what's going on. And let me make sure y'all can, y'all can see. We're good. All right, here we go. Defendant Sean Carter respectfully submits this memo of law in support of his emergency motion for an order to show cause and an order for the preservation of evidence and to strike the plaintiff's complaint pursuant to federal rule of civil procedure 12F1. Here's their statement. Admissions by the plaintiff and damning admissions by her own father in a December 13th revelatory NBC interview cast yet further doubt on a claim that was obviously false from the start. The timeline, the location, and occurrence of events alleged in plaintiff's complaint are rendered impossible by these admissions. And if you guys missed the press conference that Jay-Z's attorney held, we covered it here on the channel. Go back and watch that video. I'll have it in the description as well. And you can find the full video actually over on Amy's channel. Absolutely excellent press conference. One of the best I've ever seen. You did a great job covering the timeline, location, and occurrence of the events. She claims her father picked her up after the assault. He ever taking that 5-hour trip. What? They've got a typo here. She claimed her father picked her up after the assault. He never taking that 5-hour trip. I don't know what they were trying to say here. Basically, it didn't happen, as Alex said. She claims she spoke with musician Benji Madden that night. He was not even in New York. She claims the assault took place at an after party hosted in a private residence. Photos show Mr. Carter at an after party at a nightclub. Dennis Byron had photos from that party in 2000. When pressed by NBC, plaintiff was forced to admit, I have made some mistakes. I may have made a mistake in identifying. Not all the facts there are as clear. And even that she was guessing about key details, including the time it took to reach the venue. Oh my gosh. What is more, she admits she does not have a single corroborating witness over the last 24 years. The one witness she had is dead. The other witness she allegedly called to pick her up, her father, said that didn't happen. Plaintiff's unsupported allegations crumble under scrutiny as the evidence and the lack thereof reveals glaring inconsistencies and outright impossibilities in her story. Her account describes a jumbotron at the scene of the Video Music Awards, but according to the NYPD, sources and MTV producers, no such jumbotron existed. MTV applied for a permit to install one, but was denied. She references a house that supposedly fits the description of the location of the alleged assault, but no such house exists. And plaintiff's allegations become even more dubious when considering the nightclub evidence. Photos from the night in question show Mr. Combs, Miss Jennifer Lopez, at both Lotus and Twirl clubs in New York. So we were guessing who could have been there if this went down, and who could have been female B, or celebrity B, as they say in the claim. And we guessed very early on that it could have been Jennifer Lopez. I do find it interesting here that they name Jennifer Lopez. I get that they're naming her just as somebody who was there and who could corroborate his story, but it's still very interesting that they named Jennifer Lopez as the person being there with Diddy. Anyway, we'll keep it moving. At both Lotus and Twirl clubs in New York, NBC reported that photos separately show that Mr. Carter was at Lotus following the VMAs. Taken together, the factual inconsistencies, timeline impossibilities, and the lack of corroborating evidence make the plaintiff's allegations in the FAC wholly unreliable. Not only do these extraordinary inconsistencies undermine the plaintiff's case, they highlight severe misconduct by her counsel, Anthony Buzbee, and the Buzbee law firm. Unable to escape the foundational cracks in the plaintiff's story laid bare by the NBC interview, Buzbee was forced to backpedal, repudiating the very allegations he signed his name to. Not a great look as a lawyer at all. In an attempt to deflect from his own failures, he foist blame on another law firm, claiming the case was vetted before it was sent to his firm. It doesn't matter. You still have to do your due diligence. And so concerned is Buzbee that he is now having his client sit for a polygraph. The takeaway is obvious. Buzbee failed to undertake a reasonable inquiry into the facts before filing the complaint and then amended it to assert a claim against Mr. Carter despite an affirmative duty to do so under Rule 11. But that was just one step in the cavalcade of misconduct. Though he has signed his name to pleadings and other documents filed in this case, Buzbee has declined to seek admission to this court, apparently seeking to circumvent this court's authority to enforce Rule 11. Buzbee's rule breaking also extends beyond this action. He has a long history of abusing the legal process and shirking ethical responsibilities. In a case in California Superior Court, for instance, Buzbee was admonished by the judge for violating pre-trial rulings. He might be our real life Better Call Saul. I'm saying Suits. I'm saying Better Call Saul. Like, this guy, somebody please make a limited series about this. I will watch it again. This is so entertaining. A federal court in Texas rejected a fee arrangement orchestrated by Buzbee and his firm because it violated public policy. Shocker. The fundamental inconsistencies in the plaintiff case revealed in the NBC interview, coupled with Buzbee's chronic inability to follow the rules in this case and others, creates a substantial risk that Buzbee will destroy evidence damaging to the plaintiff's case, including evidence of his own misconduct, impairing the integrity of the judicial process. An order immediately mandating the preservation of all evidence relevant to this case is necessary to ensure that Mr. Carter has a full and fair opportunity to present his defense against the plaintiff's fictitious claims. That Buzbee is not admitted to this court and thus is apparently attempting to avoid its disciplinary authority only underscores the pressing need for such an order. For the same reasons, all of the plaintiff's allegations about Mr. Carter are scandalous, warranting striking them from the FAC under Federal Rules Civil P12F. Factual background. We know a little bit of the factual background, but we'll get into it in a second. This is insane. Buzbee filed his lawsuit on October 20th, 2024 against Combs and Associated Business on behalf of anonymous Jane Doe plaintiff. We still don't know who she is. The initial complaint alleged that Mr. Combs, along with another unnamed male celebrity, assaulted the plaintiff. Then we know they came out, they amended it, they named Jay-Z. Celebrity B, the woman who is allegedly in the room, still has not been named. All right, so we know a little bit of that factual background. Let's skip ahead and go forward. Buzbee admitted to NBC that his firm failed to conduct any investigation into the merits of plaintiff's claim prior to filing extraordinary allegations of child assault against Mr. Carter. Buzbee seeks to shirk his Rule 11 obligations and foist blame on another law firm for the glaring inconsistencies exposed by the NBC report, which this is dirty, man. Can y'all imagine? Y'all think the other law firm's ever going to refer a client to Buzbee again? This is nasty work. I mean, he's burning so many bridges, and this is just a bad look as an attorney. I don't understand why he's taking this route, but we'll see. Rather than conducting his own due diligence to vet his client's claims, Buzbee nearly relied on the purported vetting of another firm, telling NBC Jane Doe's case was referred to our firm by another who vetted it prior to sending it to us. It doesn't matter. But no one from the other firm signed the pleadings in this case. Great point. Buzbee did. His failure to investigate the claims violate Rule 11, and I'm sure there will be a bar complaint against them if there isn't one already. Further, as explained in the letter that Mr. Carter filed with this court on December 13, 2024, in the more than 8 weeks since he signed the initial complaint in this case, Buzbee has failed to seek admission to the court pro hoc vice. I don't know what that means. In the evident attempt to avoid the power of this court to enforce Rule 11 and others against him. And pro hoc vice is, it's pro hoc vice or pro hoc vis. It translates to for this occasion or for this case. In legal context, it refers to the practice of allowing an attorney who is not licensed to practice law in the specific jurisdiction to participate in a case in that jurisdiction on a temporary basis. So he didn't even seek admission. He just went ahead and was practicing law where he wasn't supposed to be. Nice. Well done, Tony. Buzbee's misconduct and other lawsuits. Buzbee's gross violation of Rule 11 in this case and failure to comply with the court's admission requirements are just the most recent examples in a long line of litigation misconduct. Oh my gosh. For instance, Buzbee and his law firm were recently accused of violating the rules of professional conduct by 3 former clients for his deceitful conduct. They have in Exhibit 1, 2, and 3, or 2. We'll say 2A. What is more, according to the former client of Buzbee, Buzbee's law firm dropped her as a client after she resisted the firm's efforts to pressure her to adopt a false narrative of her experiences as a victim of trafficking by celebrities unrelated to this case. Specifically, the Buzbee law firm pressed her to confirm that she was drugged, held down, pushed, and physically assaulted, all false details. Moreover, she was repeatedly asked for a connection to Mr. Combs, though she made it clear her case was unrelated to him. And already in this case, he violated Rule 3. We talked about the Rule 3 of professional conduct as we were going throughout the YSL trial too, because Miss Love was in some hot water for breaking or violating Rule 3 as well. Professional conduct, prohibiting attorneys from threatening to present criminal charges solely to obtain an advantage in a civil matter. By making such threats to Mr. Carter to extract a settlement prior to bringing frivolous claims against him in the FAC. Buzbee also has a track record for employing suspect tactics to gain an unfair advantage in the course of litigation. Because Buzbee frequently severs clients on a contingency fee arrangement, he has a personal stake in the outcome of his cases and has demonstrated his creativity in stepping over the line to promote his own interests, using social media, as he mentions on his website, and as was mentioned in a previous motion. In one notable case, a federal court invalidated a referral agreement between Buzbee and a known fact witness in a case as invalid as a matter of public policy, which entitled the witness to 15% of the gross attorney's fees awarded if Buzbee's client was victorious. Lord. In another unscrupulous tactic, in order to get a case heard in a favorable venue, the Buzbee law firm submitted venue pleadings and a client affidavit characterized as at best incorrect and at worst fraudulent. After the defendant's counsel notified Buzbee's firm that his client's misrepresented facts that affected the trial court's venue determination, Buzbee unilaterally non-suited the case and refiled a substantially similar case in another favorable venue. Tony. There's one more example. Finally, Buzbee has demonstrated a lack of respect for and willingness to violate judicial orders. In one case, Buzbee baselessly accused former baseball player Scott Erickson of being to blame for a murder while representing criminal defendant Rebecca Grossman. Oh, we got to look into that. He falsely claimed Erickson was the driver who hit and killed 2 young boys and was hiding in the bushes after the fatal act, despite no evidence to support that assertion. This man, Tony, come on, what are you doing? Prosecutors accused Buzbee and his team of unethical behavior, stating that they were making a mockery of the justice system. The presiding judge rebuked Buzbee, declaring, "We cannot have the defense violating pretrial rulings and expose the jury to evidence that contradicts those rulings," and reprimanded him for his conduct, stating that if it continued, the court would consider financially sanctioning Buzbee and reporting to the state bar. Again, if there hasn't been a bar complaint against him, I'm sure there will be soon. Legal standard, we're not going to get into all that. And then the argument we'll go over quickly. An immediate preservation order is warranted because there is a substantial risk that key evidence will not be preserved. If there was key evidence, it's gone already. Let's be real. We know the evidence is gone. if they wanted evidence to be destroyed. So I'm sorry, guys, you're not going to win this one. Just going to have to let it go. And seeing how Buzbee moves already, I would be surprised if they had any evidence to hand over. Mr. Carter faces a significant risk that Buzbee will destroy relevant evidence. What else do we have? Absent a preservation order, Mr. Carter's rights to conduct full discovery will be irreparably harmed, especially if this is not dismissed. The burden on Buzbee to preserve evidence is negligible. The court should strike the complaint as against Mr. Carter pursuant to Rule 12F. So Jay-Z's just saying, take my name out of it. Even if you're not going to dismiss this claim, just take my name out of it, please. Makes sense. And then the conclusion, for the reasons stated above, a preservation order is necessary to ensure that plaintiff and her counsel, Buzbee and the Buzbee law firm, preserve all evidence relevant to this case. And given that the NBC interview revealed the meritless nature of the allegations against Mr. Carter, the FAC should be stricken under Rule 12F. As such, Mr. Carter respectfully requests that the court issue the attached proposed order to show cause, ordering Buzbee and his law firm and his firm to show cause as to why a preservation order should not issue and why the FAC should not be stricken, and Mr. Carter dismissed from this action, and to set a hearing on this motion for Thursday, December 19th at 9 a.m. or as soon hereafter as the court deems appropriate. And then, of course, we have Alex Spiro. I'm going to say it wrong. This is amazing, man. The fact that we're getting to see this back and forth between the two is absolutely hilarious. And if y'all thought we were done, we're not done, because we have Buzbee suing Rock Nation. He made a statement about that as well. We're going to get into it shortly, but let me know what y'all think about this. Who's going to win this battle? This is an epic battle between two lawyers and a celebrity. It's going to be interesting to watch. And shout out to everyone who's in the building too. Appreciate y'all. Tat Clouds is up in here. Wrestler's mom is in the building. Mr. Brown is up in here too. Good to see you, Mr. Brown. It's wild. It's Viche. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. He said, bro, this anonymous lady is false. Yeah, she. Stop the cap. For real. What else are y'all saying? I guess he's got to get up out of here. Shout out to my guy, Les Cleaver. What else are y'all saying in here? Did I read all the super chats? I think I might have missed them. I got Dear Walt Christian. I think he was the last one in there too. And thank you. We got over 1,000 likes. Thank y'all for liking the video. It really does help. I know it's a simple thing, but I really do appreciate y'all doing that. All right, let me see if I could find this. We'll get our new headline up here. Let's bring Tony Buzbee back. Now I'm going to check a couple more of y'all's comments too. Make sure we got the right one. And then I saw Kat posted something earlier. It looks like we've got a statement from let me see. We've got a statement from Tony Buzbee here too. I'm going to see if I can find it from Kat. I actually want to find the full statement because they just sent this morning. Can I copy this? I will get into it in a second. Let me see what y'all are saying about this. Jacqueline's in here. Good morning, Jacqueline. Good to see y'all in here. Rush Street said, Sharice said, this is why I don't believe some of these people that are going after Diddy. I will never disregard one's abuse, but sometimes you have to think Diddy is a money train, just like Cosby. Oh yeah, for sure. I don't think it's pronounced Visha. I don't know. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm really bad with words. Is that a thing to say? They made up this story, but didn't have all the facts together. Absolutely garbage. I'm behind watching this weird church is, says Nicole. You're cracking me up, Classy Beats. Wade is getting her together often. Hey, yo. She said it, not me. Nonsense. I agree. Every part of her story makes no sense. And when we first read it, everyone was ready to throw Jay-Z under the bus. And we're a little more objective over here. And we look at it case by case. And we said, this story, it's just, it doesn't seem right. Y'all are smart people, man. Y'all were like, nah, I don't know. I'm not going with the rest of the crowd. Something isn't right here. Nicola said, why can't everyone like the video? Why can't y'all like the video? Let's see. You already see this. Misconduct. Yeah, Amy sent me something. I'm trying to see what. Accuser false. Yes. Yeah, I got you, Amy. Thank you for that. How did a drugged up 13-year-old fight off hit a hoe Diddy? Yeah, because she said Diddy was trying to do something else. She screamed and she punched him in the face or something like that. And then he let her go. I don't know, man. Stop the cap. We already know this whole story is absolutely not true. And some people are out here saying, oh, well, maybe she got the date wrongs. I don't want to hear that, man. If you're going to bring this type of litigation against somebody, you need to have your facts straight. So if you're going to do it right. Let's see here. I want to find this one more thing for y'all. And then we will get into what Buzbee's trying to say in his lawsuit. Yep, Nikolai said it didn't add up. Wrestler's mom said, I'm side-eyeing these claims. People will do anything for money. Yeah, and you have to think, again, I use the analogy, and I won't bring up the analogy again. But just because somebody did something doesn't mean they did everything. So just because Diddy was kicking Cassie up and down the hotel hallway doesn't mean he went outside and threw a rock and smashed somebody's car window. Could it have happened? Maybe, but doesn't mean it happened? No. So you have to take all these on a case by case basis. You can't just say, oh yeah, Diddy, he definitely did that. Oh yeah, Jay-Z did that because he was around Diddy. No, it's just, that's not how the law works, thank God, because if it was, anytime any of us got upset, we'd be in trouble. Not to mention she indicated she's autistic. Yeah, why would you take this without if she's autistic, why would you not take your time with this? It's absolutely terrible. All right, y'all give me one second. I want to find one more thing. So we're going to have, let me see if I can find this. I'm going to have like a 30-second intermission and I will be right back. All right, y'all give me a second.
Exactly what today is.
Oh, my bad, y'all. I just realized the music wasn't playing. I apologize.
I can do what I want when I want to do it. I can do what I need when I need to get through it. When I need someone else, can't be too proud for help. But gotta look after myself. Sometimes it can get lonely.
Yeah, shout out to Keely too.
Never living in the moment.
Yeah, somebody was asking me over on Facebook. DeAndre Garland said, who is the artist who is singing the song at the intro? Y'all check her out. If you like that intro song, the link is in the description, but also you can go find her over on Spotify. All right, this is Today is the title of the song by artist named Keely. Go show her some love, support, and the link is in the description. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna pause this. We're gonna get into this next one about Tony Buzbee. Again, the back and forth continues between these two because Tony Buzbee is taking some shots at Roc Nation. It's crazy. And I was trying to find Tony Buzbee's response to Jay-Z, but man. This is just gonna be hard to read, and y'all know I already struggle with reading anyway. So let me see here. Yeah, I'm not gonna. We'll figure that out. We may have to address that on Monday. Either way, here we go. This is the plaintiff's original petition for barratry or barratry, however you want to pronounce it, and conspiracy to commit barratry. And this is basically saying filing. There's a couple ways you could define it. I'm going to read this definition. The persistent initiation of groundless lawsuits or illegal actions with malicious intent. Essentially, is the act of filing numerous baseless claims or harassing somebody. All right, so let's get into it and see what Buzbee is saying about these folks over here at Roc Nation. Plaintiff files this original petition against defendants Marcy Bryant Croft, representing Jay-Z, investigator Jessica Santiago of Roc Nation LLC, and Quinn Emanuel and Sullivan LLP. So he's suing their firm. Seeking damages and respectfully shows this honorable court the following. Defendants have conspired to obstruct justice by engaging in shadowy operatives to illegally seek out more than 24 current and former clients of the Buzbee law firm to convince those clients to bring frivolous cases against the Buzbee law firm. Sound familiar? Sounds like they took play one out of Tony's playbook when it comes to how he handles these cases. No. Can't take the heat, Tony. Come on now. The Buzbee law firm, a defendant of Roc Nation, is financing the effort. So defendant Roc Nation is financing the effort. Its attorneys Marcy Croft and Quinn Emanuel are orchestrating the effort. In some cases, defendants' agents pretend to work for the state of Texas and have flashed fake badges. Soliciting clients is a crime in the state of Texas. Paying individuals to file false claims is unethical and criminal in the state of Texas. Impersonating a state official is a crime. In at least one case, defendants' agents offered as much as $10,000 to a former client of Buzbee's law firm to sue the firm. And allegedly, Tony Buzbee said he has video of this happening. Stop the cap. I'm not buying it, but we'll see as this goes on. Unfortunately for the defendants, their agents are not very smart or careful. God dang. Their agents were caught on audio tape red-handed, not knowing they were being recorded. Defendants' agents admitted that defendant Marcy Croft, a licensed Texas lawyer and member of Team Rock, was orchestrating the effort, and another recording those agents described the criminal conspiracy in great detail, going so far to admit that the lawsuits would be in the press and that some former clients had already accepted money to join the effort. Excuse me. Roc Nation and Jay-Z are synonymous. Jay-Z is founder and chairman of Roc Nation. At the same time, the illegal conduct described herein continues. The Buzbee law firm is pursuing a claim on behalf of at least one client against Jay-Z in New York federal court. And as a result of the client's claims, Jay-Z sued the Buzbee law firm in Los Angeles state court. So we've got these shots being fired back and forth. Defendant Quinn Emanuel, who represents Jay-Z in both cases and who is also frequently represents Roc Nation, denied in open court and in the press involvement in the scheme described herein. That denial was a bold-faced lie. Oh my gosh. A bold-faced whopper, as Judge Glanville would say. The illegal efforts described here, which Roc Nation is funding, and Defendant Croft and Defendant Quinn Emanuel are orchestrating, is intended to interfere with the Buzbee law firm's ability to represent its clients and offer pertinent evidence to the authorities. Defendant scheme is summarized in the following recording transcript. Oh no! What we're trying to do, we're trying to put this thing together for the company that we're working for. We could get you paid. You could get money right soon, you know? I mean, it sounds like a J.G. Wentworth commercial. It's your money and you need it now, right? We gave this kid $1,000 to start yesterday just to get him on the right path, they said. At the end of the day, this is going to go through the courts. Buzbee is getting sued. And they have the transcript here for us on page 6. Oh, this is getting spicy. As a part of their scheme, defendants attempted to use the plaintiff herein as a pawn. On behalf of the defendant, Marcy Croft, two individuals approached the plaintiff. They were pushy. They told him he had to talk to them because they were with the state. They told him that they were putting together a lawsuit on behalf of defendant Marcy Croft and the company she works for, and that she would assign his case to someone who could get him a lot of money. Thankfully, rather than go along with their illegal efforts, the plaintiff recorded them instead. He now files suit for barratry, both a crime and a civil action in the state of Texas. This is just one of multiple cases to be filed by plaintiffs who have been illegally solicited by investigators working as a part of a cabal headquartered in New York City. Oh my goodness. Defendants have a long history of the type of abusive and egregious conduct described herein because they have gotten away with it for so long. Defendants think they can come down to Texas and do whatever they choose with impunity. They are wrong. Their behavior will have consequences, both civilly and criminally. Okay, we don't need the parties. We know who they are. Look at this. We're on page 5. This is Marcy B. Croft. Shout out to Marcy Croft. They've got her information here. I don't know why they have this posted here, but I guess it would be explained. Maybe we should read the parties real quick anyway. Plaintiff resides in Texas, Harris County. Marcy Croft, she's licensed in Texas. She's self-admitted member of Team Roc, and she's served through Texas Secretary of State at her office at that address. Okay, and they're just showing who she is. Cool. There's more pictures of her saying that she represents Team Roc. They're just giving the background. All right, and then the venue and jurisdiction. The venue is proper in Harris County, Texas, pursuant section 15 of the Texas Civil Practices and Remedies Code, because all or a substantial part of the events or admissions give rise to the claims occurred in Harris County, Texas. Discovery Control Plan. Plaintiff intends to conduct discovery under level 3 of the Texas rule, which is cool. Here's the evidence. What do they have? Transcript of defendant Jessica Santiago and Gerardo Garcia. We have transcript of defendant agents Skylar Taylor, affidavit from Skylar Taylor, and affidavit from Shannon Champagne. Okay, here are the facts. On behalf of two clients, Tony Buzbee and Tony Buzbee's law firm sent demand letters to Jay-Z attorneys in New York. The letters made no monetary demand. I mean, stop the cap. It's assumed. What else do you want out of a civil litigation? Come on now. They only sought a confidential sit down to discuss the client's allegations. Just wanted to have a conversation. In response to the two letters, Defendant Quinn Emanuel filed suit against the Buzbee law firm. The suit alleged that the firm was trying to extort Jay-Z. The lawsuit was and is frivolous and will be dismissed. Well, we'll see how that goes. Well, we know pretty much all this information already. Here's the causes of action. Barratry and solicitation, Texas Penal Code, Section 3812. All defendants, they're saying they're guilty of that. Civil conspiracy, they're all guilty. Punitive damages, oh, they hurt their feelings. Plaintiff incorporates the preceding paragraphs of this petition as is set forth here fully herein. Defendant's conduct was committed with actual malice, and as such, plaintiff seeks exemplary damages against the defendants. Moreover, because this involves the violation of a criminal statute, no damage caps are applicable to plaintiff's damages. As a approximate result of the defendant's conduct, plaintiff has suffered damages in an amount to be proven at trial. So there's just this throwing lawsuits back and forth is insane. Here are the damages they're alleging. Compensatory damages in the amount they're going to see at trial, consequential and special damages, exemplary. Okay, we're not going to worry about all that. Attorney's fees, such other and further relief of which plaintiff is entitled, like they have to go to lunch, get coffee or some donuts. Demand for a jury. Plaintiff respectfully demands a jury trial on those issues where appropriate. They don't really want this to go to a jury. There's no way. Conclusion and prayer. Upon trial of this matter, plaintiff respectfully prays for judgment as follows: that the defendant be restrained as set forth herein. The court entered judgment in favor of the plaintiff for damages permitted by law, such other relief, a law or inequity to which the plaintiff may be justly entitled. And this is signed by the Buzbee law firm, Anthony G. Buzbee. All right. Tony Buzbee's up in here with David Fortney and JP Morgan and Chase at the JP Morgan and Chase Tower. Oh, man. I don't think, man, at this point, Tony, you don't want all this to go to trial. You don't want any of this to go to trial. And to anybody who's in Texas and in this Houston, Harris County area, I want to know from y'all in the comments, what is the thought about Tony Buzbee? Because I know someone personally who's in that area and they said Tony Buzbee still owes them money. So I want to know from the people, what is y'all's impression of Tony Buzbee? And then to everybody else who's watching this, y'all let me know what you think is going to happen here too. And I appreciate y'all. We still got over 1,600 of y'all in here showing love. 1,100 of you like the video. Good morning to my guy, JB Brown up in here. What's up, man? Yeah, shout out to Keely too. Y'all go show him some love. Rush Street said I had to feed my featherless albino pigeon. Well, it's not albino. Hey, yo. But yeah, call it whatever you want to. And not to mention she was autistic. Such a mess, man. Such a mess. Don't be surprised if Jay-Z did in fact do something. Well, hasn't everybody done something? I mean, I get what you're saying, Charisse, but we're talking about this case specifically. And I'm with you. I hear you. I don't think Jay-Z's innocent of never doing anything in his entire life. No one is. But when it comes to this case, it's just total BS. Wish I could double like this just for your Trump comment. Hey, shout out to Just Jay. I support our 47th president. Absolutely. I'm here for it, man. It's going to be amazing 4 years. Y'all hang on. I don't want to struggle through trying to read what Kat posted. So I'm going to see if I can get a better image of this at some point. And then I think I had one more. Let's see, Diddy Dog it. Jay-Z bullying edition, suing Sean Combs for 13. I really want to find this document because I want to read this. Maybe Megan will have it. Yeah, we talked. Megan does have it, but she's only got a picture of it. Man, I really want to find the statement. Megan Cuniff says Tony Buzbee has responded to Alex Spiro's filing in the lawsuit against Jay-Z, calling the inconsistencies in his client's interview run-of-the-mill disputes of fact, and saying nothing warrants even summary judgment, let alone sanctions. We might have to save that for Monday because it's looking like I can't find the full article. No Mac says they love to say he's done something like nobody hasn't. We're talking about this one case. If you stole candy, does that mean you'll steal out the bank? Shaking my head. Yeah, you get it. No Mac gets it. Like, come on, nobody's innocent. Have y'all gotten a speeding ticket? Have you sped and gotten away with it? Oh, well, that means then, well, you're capable of anything. Like, you're innocent until proven guilty. I think we should keep it that way. People can get in trouble for lying on someone, especially with someone of that magnitude. Can we all agree that these laws need to be changed? Man, woman, whoever, if you intentionally, and obviously you would have to prove the intent, if you intentionally bring up false allegations against someone, you should either be held by the law responsible for whatever you're accusing the person of, or you should just have to have something. Maybe they come up with a new legal term. But people who bring out false allegations like this, people who bring false claims, false lawsuits, should not be able to use this as a standard practice. And we've even seen evidence of Tony Buzbee doing this as a standard practice. He said, yeah, I'm going to take these clients on. I'll do a little bit of vetting, and then I'm going to go to the public. I'm going to go to social media. I'm going to go everywhere, and I'm going to push whoever it is the defendant in this case, and I'm going to push them to do what I want to. The law is just, oh man, so flawed. We need a lot of reform in so many of these cases. So charges came out about Diddy. Everyone else started getting talked about, but no one shows any concrete evidence. Sheree says they should hold them accountable because they are messing with people's lives. And I mean, imagine if you don't have the resources of a Jay-Z. I can imagine Tony Buzbee probably isn't going to come after you, but Tony Buzbee Jr. might, you know what I'm saying? Someone who's just looking to try and get some extra money, and they can ruin your life for real. It's sad. Tony is an ambulance chaser. I'm in Harris County, and we've heard about his practices for years. Uh-oh. He did the same thing to Deshaun Watson, says Emo. I am me. Thank you for that insight, Emo. I appreciate it. The streets are talking. They said Tony Buzbee's Better Call Saul out here. Oh, man. I hate to see it. They all better be lucky that they're not in Fulton County, or they'll all be in a RICO case. Yeah, they definitely would be. It's tough to see that happen. I wonder what's going to happen to Tony Buzbee in this case. Because I know Jay-Z's going to keep fighting. They're not letting this thing go. So it's going to be Alex Spiro versus Jay-Z. Let's see what happens. All right, y'all, we're going to get up out of here. Thank you for showing so much love and support. Thank you to everybody who's sending super chats, like the video. We've got another show if y'all are interested in hearing some music from some amazing artists who are in the community right here on the ClassE Beats YouTube channel. We've got a episode of the Song of the Night live tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to listen to some great music. Y'all get a chance to vote and decide which artist is your favorite and get an opportunity to win some cash too. So make sure y'all stop by tonight. If you haven't yet, like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time that we go live or drop a new video. Hope y'all have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend, and we'll be here all throughout next week. I won't be here Christmas Day, but we'll be here Christmas afternoon / evening. So make sure y'all stay here. We are taking no days off. I appreciate y'all. And as always, you know what to do. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We go. Peace.